Well, Tyler, you were excellent out there today. Just first Cactus League outing. How are you feeling on the mound and just so far in spring training where we're at right now?
Good. Just kind of took in what I was doing last year into this spring and stayed with it. Normal build up, and then today felt really good.
We noticed the velocity just was a slight uptick. Do you think that was maybe adrenaline on the mound, or is that something you have been working on actively?
Definitely not adrenaline. I think it was just, I think like the mechanical stuff that Connor and Mark have had me. It's kind of getting back to what I was doing like a while, kind of finding that like mid-range between like the kind of the bad habits I got into and staying a little bit more behind it. But I think it's just getting back to more of like mechanical alignment, and the velo always kind of matches when I'm in a good spot.
Tyler, different guys are working on different things at this point in the spring, but how much is just working the pitch mix a priority for you early on?
Yeah, I think certain pitches, like I might not necessarily throw in the same sequences now as I would in season, but I think it's kind of you feel like the slider today felt a little weird, so I think me and Will were just on the same page, just throwing it and trying to get it right, and a couple maybe more like feel around as opposed to like trying to just get guys out quickly. I'm obviously still trying to do that, but like feeling around a little bit more.
Is there a different feel this spring after everything you did for the team, coming out of the bullpen for the first time, and the challenges that you overcame during last season? Is there a different feel for you this spring?
No, not really. I think it's just more about like my biggest goal is just to stay healthy and log innings and stay on just not be put on the IL for an extended amount of time. I don't think it feels any different. I just think trying to solidify everything mechanically and recovery-wise and just trying to stay healthy and log a lot of innings.
Do you feel like you're bouncing back better this spring than you were maybe at this time last year?
I don't know. First game, we're going to find out. But I think so. Hopefully. I feel pretty good.
Kind of along those lines, is this kind of the best you'd probably say you felt just in general, considering last year a lot of mechanical changes? This year you come in with a different feel, working through some stuff, the velocity is up. Is this kind of the best where you feel right now?
Yeah, I think it's still relatively early, but I think mechanically I've been in such a good spot since last year and like taking it into the off season to where it's just kind of like a seamless transition from off season to in season, and then having Connor and Mark here, just being able to like look over stuff, and while I'm in throwing program, like if I'm getting into bad habits, just getting stuff. It's nice to have like those eyes around me, and I feel like it's just been a lot easier to be athletic, and it's just kind of feels like natural to me now to where I'm not thinking about it and I'm just pitching.
How, like you talked about like finding those things at the end of last season, like when's the last time you felt like this kind of good just about like where your mechanics are and not having to like tinker with stuff? Like has
Probably
this been
22 probably, to where I'm like kind of at that same spot now. Not as like crazy side bend and landing all crazy, but as far as like my glove arm kind of getting back to like what my body naturally does, I'd say I feel similar to like the end when I came back in 22 after TJ. Everything kind of felt nice, and then I think from 23, 24, 25, yeah. So in a long answer to get to 22, yeah.
not to like ask the obvious part, but like how nice is it when you are in that kind of feel with what you're doing with your throw, and what does it kind of allow you to do like when you are kind of trying to get to a certain level and going through camp, that sort of thing?
I think it just allows me to kind of feel like just to go out and pitch and be athletic, and it's not like you're thinking of something and like trying to like limit where my body's going or this or that. I'm just worrying about that in practice, and when I go out to the game, it's been recently anyway with my live EPs and then today in my bullpens, it's just I'm able to just go out and like play baseball as opposed to like trying to tinker and nitpick certain stuff.
Dave did say the other day
Sorry.
that he thought you grew as much as anyone on the team last year. Do you feel that way?
I think with all I think there was like a lot maybe going on with like just having that injury and then trying to get back to what I was doing before I had those, just trying to protect my elbow with those mechanical changes and then working with Connor and Mark to get back. I think it was like maybe a lot thrown in at once, and I feel like just juggling all that and still being able to maybe go out and pitch well was good. I think too maybe how comfortable I was on the mound, especially in the postseason. I think I was just confident and comfortable, and not like the occasion or like I guess the situation wasn't too crazy. It was always just like fun for me to go out and pitch in the postseason. And I feel like when I was maybe a bit younger and I felt like I had to do everything on my own maybe, or like shoulder a lot of the responsibility, I feel like it was maybe a bit more like trying to do too much. So I think it was just nice to go out and it didn't feel any different than like a regular season game. Obviously it is, but I think in terms of like what I was trying to do. So I think there was a lot of growth in that. Just knowing myself and staying within myself and just pitching.
Why do you think that happened at that point? I'm older now.
I don't know. I think it's just experience of doing it, maybe, and like having a lot of postseasons. I think working with Connor and Mark has been like extremely helpful. Like I have so much trust in them to where I don't feel like I have to do everything on my own in my mind and away from the field. It's just like, what do you guys got? And then I go out and I just, whatever they tell me, it's not as much tinkering. It's like I can rely on them to be like, this is what you're doing. So it just like expedites the process, and just as a whole, all the staff, like training room, weight room, everybody. I think a lot of now, for the first time, I'm just kind of like allowing everyone else to just be like, what do you got? And then implementing that. And still obviously like being within myself, but everything is just so buttoned up here. It's just nice to know like a bunch of people have your back.
Do you think you were an overthinker before?
I mean, I will always, till I die, be an overthinker, but I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I think it's just maybe a perfectionist mixed with an overthinker can be detrimental at times, but I think I'm definitely like learning and growing, and it's not as bad as before.
Do you think that comes with, I mean, also coming to a new organization and just developing that trust as well?
Yeah, I think so. I think just the whole theme of baseball, a lot of times, like you see a lot of guys around when you're in the minor leagues and you don't necessarily know where you're traded whenever, like at any time. So you kind of feel like you need to shoulder a lot of the adjustments and what you need to do and what you don't need to do. And I think it is one of the first times where like having a contract or knowing you'll be somewhere for quite a while allows you to maybe trust a bit more. And I think it comes with having really good staff members. And I think a lot of you can, I will like run whatever they tell me kind of through the gauntlet of like a lot of questions. And I think when you get to understand like everyone is telling you something for a reason, and it's like really thought through, and like it's not just words, it really means something. It's easier for me to just like, all right, I trust you. And then, so yeah, another long way of saying yes. Yeah.
Max, how different has this spring just looked for you? Dave Roberts talked about how he's been very intentional with a lot of you guys, making it a slow ramp up. Does this spring feel different for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's the first normal spring we've had in several years. We don't have to make a cross-world trip this spring, so for a lot of us, just the back-to-back World Series, trying to prioritize rest over the off-season, and, that was a conversation that was had with multiple people, and it was kind of just give your body as much rest as possible. We'll start ramping things up later than normal, and because of that, you're just not ready for the first week of games. But we're still scheduled to get more than 50 at bats, which is definitely plenty to get ready for a season.
Yeah, when you kind of look at spring, you mentioned the 50 at bats, but just kind of what do you feel like your needs are during spring training to get yourself ready?
The biggest thing is you're trying to build up, just endurance for the season. You can train all off season all you want, but the first day you put on cleats and you go out there and it's stand up, sit down, just a normal baseball game. It's it kind of kills the body a little bit. So really, spring is kind of about just building up baseball endurance. Going out there every inning, getting at bats. Because when you're training, you're just swinging over and over again. You're not taking a break in between. So you're trying to build up that kind of endurance that spring.
Do you have a target as number of at bats that you'd like to get in the spring? Freddie says 47, specifically 47, not 48.
Yeah, I don't know where Freddie got that number from. For me, it was kind of just when we felt like I was ready for games, we were going to get in there, and then we just kind of build off that, try to get some back-to-backs, a couple day nights in there, and then, towards the end, start playing 3 in a row, just getting ready, get the soreness out of the body for the season. So I don't have a set number. Like I said, right now we're scheduled for over 50, and then, there's obviously ways you can get more if you need to.
Yeah. What do you think of the ABS so far this spring?
Yeah, I mean, we had it last spring, and so it's, it's interesting. I think it's going to take a little bit to learn what the true zone actually is, and I think early on we're discovering the zone's a little bit lower than what everyone actually thinks it is, and that could be that when you're measured for your ABS, you don't have shoes on, and then you go put cleats on and stand in a box, so it's almost a 2-3 inch difference right there alone. So I think just learning what the actual true zone is might take a little bit of time, even into the season.
They say they measured you guys all in the morning because you shrink over the course of a day.
That's above my head. I don't know. Sure.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see.
Just looking at the lineup, obviously there's a lot of guys. The depth is there. Does it change just kind of your mindset or your at-bats, knowing that you might be kind of batting 6th or 7th this upcoming season?
To be honest, I don't think it really matters where you bat in our lineup. You're going to have some guys on base. You're going to have opportunities. And for me, it's just not change who I am. What I do, I think, is very vital to the lineup construction, just seeing pitches, taking walks, doing damage here and there. I think for me the biggest thing is just don't get out of myself and let everyone else be who they are and not have to be someone they're not. And that was, just my time on the injured list over the last couple of years. What I've learned about myself is just the lineup works better when I'm me.
Well, Blake, just coming into this year, a healthy offseason, when you kind of got out there on the mound, what was going through your mind as to what this spring has looked like for you right now?
It's going to sound weird, but just the mindset that I've had every year is just prove yourself to the team to be, good enough to make a spot. And, people can probably laugh at that, but that's just a mindset I've always told myself to keep. And today felt good. Still had butterflies. I was joking with the umpire that, man, I can't feel my legs. It's just weird. Every year it happens. So I just need to throw a little bit, and then the heart rate calms down a bit, and then I'll settle back in. But, yeah, it felt good today. Really happy with where things are at.
Yeah, it was a very clean inning, very effective. What does that just say to you as to where your stuff is at right now?
There's a few small things that we did some talking about as spring was getting closer, and felt pretty confident about a couple of small, I wouldn't even call them like mechanical adjustments, but just focuses in my delivery, and it's really seemed to clean up shapes on my pitches, and just more strikes early. I think I fell behind 2-0 twice, which sucks, but there's a lot more strikes out there than it was last year.
Yeah, considering last year with that forearm injury, how different does this beginning of this year feel thus far?
Well, last year felt great in spring also. Just kind of ran into some unfortunate, feelings in the forearm that set me back quite a bit, and there's no excuses. I was fine. I just wasn't competing, and to the clip that I hold myself to the standard of, and that was frustrating for me, for a lot of people. So this year will, be a better year. I'm excited to, turn the page and see 2026 be my best year ever. So.